Hello, the quarry is finished. It has dug all the way down to the bedrock that you can dimly see down there at the bottom, and it has done pretty well. Let's take a look. In here we have some redstone and sapphires and some rubies, loads of lapis, loads of uranium, more redstone, more lapis, more sapphires, more rubies, more of the same over there. In this one we have a lot of dirt, which I had originally been sending off to the scrap, but starting my farming exploits I realised that I am going to need some dirt. I can probably make that renewable at some point, but dirt in good supply is going to be useful, so I started collecting that, slightly worried that this chest actually filled up and I'd probably end up throwing some obsidian away, or maybe some other stuff that it found in the lower layers, but never mind, can't be helped. And then this one is the big one. 39 diamonds. I love it. That is amazing. And I did virtually nothing for that. I can very easily pick up this whole kit and move it along and get another 39. So that's going to be great. Loads of ores. We've got stacks of iron ore, tin ore that is really something I've been struggling for. Lots of gold, lots of copper. Again, same in all three of these chests. Loads and loads of coal as well. And don't forget, every single stack of coal could be turned into a diamond as well if I chose to go down that route. Although right now I'm really not short of diamonds, so I'm not sure I'm going to bother with that particular route of getting them. Fun though it would be. And then over here, everything that I didn't find useful, which is basically cobble and gravel and flint, has been turned into boxes and boxes of scrap. And pretty high on my list is a way of automating the process of turning these into useful stuff. Because fun though it is to spam click and get random items out, it's actually quite hard work dealing with the items when you've got them. And a lot of them are useless. So I need to make a system that will recycle the useless items like the wooden shovels and the single-use batteries and the gravel and things back into the system, and take any other items that may have uses and do something with them. So that is definitely coming up on the list. But I think job number one is going to have to be to move all this stuff back over to the house and actually do something with it. So I'm going to start by shifting some of this dirt. Over at the house I've made a lot more barrels so I can store all this material. And then when I've been over there, I'm going to actually craft a bit more hummus and take it over to the tree farm, and we'll check out how that's doing as well. So this is the new array of barrels. This is where I'm going to start moving those ores and minerals in, spreading them all out a bit, because I think that my little dusts and ores chests are probably not going to be big enough anymore. I have moved on. Let's head over to the new base, or the future site of the new base anyway, and just fly down and check out how the farms are doing. I am not really decided on exactly what we're going to do for today's project, because I really want to work on expanding the farms. I also really want to work on automating the boom. He was in the desert biome burning away and he found his way into the rainy biome. That was clever of him. I really want to work on automating the scrap recycling, so I don't know where to go first for this, so we will have a think about it. You can see these particles in the air, by the way. I didn't realise I'd left this switched on, but this is my world anchor here, and when you craft a world anchor you can switch on a mode via a keyboard shortcut, I think it's F9, that enables these particles to show which chunks are being kept loaded. So they're very nice, very useful to have. So this is the farm. You see it's doing alright for wheat. I've already emptied this chest a couple of times, so we have had at least a double chest and a bit of wheat out of this, and I think it's just happily continuing. The seeds are overflowing, but there's not much we can do about that. Whenever wheat grows, you see it whizzing down the pipes and into there, so that's definitely working nicely. I've got my solar panels in the middle feeding the two. I don't know if I showed it on my last video, but I've updated the system underneath these. Let's just take a quick look. I now have the solar panels feeding into that MFE down there, and then the MFE, I think you have to come down a bit deeper to see. Whoa! Lagging. Where does the power come out? I'm digging the wrong way. I think it's under here actually. Yeah, there it goes. That's the power coming out of the MFE, and it goes into an electrical engine in there, and that electrical engine powers via some wooden conductive pipe, because you have to use wooden conductive pipe to get the energy out of there, and then it feeds into two golden conductive pipes going in two different directions. So one heads over there towards that farm, and the other one heads over there towards that farm, and that's essentially how those two machines are powered by a single set of solar panels. And I guess I'll probably expand the farms in the future and have a row of them running down and solar panels down the middle or something like that. Solar panels do seem to be the easiest and best way to keep these things powered. Apples coming out into there, and that's my chest for storing all my hummus supplies. I'll get the hummus topped up now while I remember, because that is definitely the thing that's slowing everything down. We get sand coming out, of course, not that I've got much use for it. And this is the wood it's produced, so it's getting on towards a double chest, and because it will stay loaded, you can see it's already started replacing the hummus. We'll be getting more trees growing in a bit. I'm going to have a good supply of wood from here, so that's great. I guess what we'll do when we have the base is we'll pipe it through a tunnel and bring it directly into the base at some point. But this is all in the future, concepts that need to be thought about. I will drop off the spare hummus so I can keep it topped up. I don't think that's going to last long, but there's plenty more dirt and plenty more fertilizer, so I can make a lot more of it before we have to think about making it renewable. And then I think we will go back and sort out some of the materials. This is so uncool. What is this guy doing? Just hanging out in my house, shooting at me. I'm so shocked I can't even fight back. I am quite... He's actually going to kill me. He's actually in my house trying to kill me. Dude. Stop it, man. Well, I gave him a fair warning. Okay, I've been messing about with a few things, which I will show you, but I've just become vaguely aware that we have a sheep living underneath here and slowly drowning, and he kind of sinks down to the bottom and then magically moves back up to the top again. I'm not quite sure how to deal with him. I guess we can probably push him out. It just seems harsh. I think he's been there for about a week. Yeah, I've been messing about. I don't know why I'm religiously shutting the doors. That's crazy. Crafting gold chests, and over here, these are really nice crystal chests. You can actually see the items spinning around inside them. Because I have a lot of stuff now from all the quarrying. That's my ore, not including iron, which is in one of these barrels. Iron is there, and one type of silver is there. You can see I've got quite a lot of those as well. For some reason, the barrels don't always display the little icon of what's in them. I'm guessing it's some kind of a bug. Iron ingots don't appear either, so there must be particular items which don't work properly in barrels. The tree farming has been going very well over at the other base as well. I've got a shortcut book to get there now. It needs topping up once again, but the world anchor is loaded and it is progressing really well. I've got stacks and stacks of wood out of that. We've got a couple of full barrels there pretty much, another barrel over there, we've got a couple of barrels of wheat there, a couple of barrels of wheat there, crazy amounts of that, loads of dirt and things as well, so I can keep the hummus topped up over time. So the tree farming is going nicely, and I have been messing about with a different type of tree farming today, and I will take you over there and show you what I have been doing. Decided to have a go at turtles. Just idly decided to mess about with them a bit. And I've designed this. This is a rubber tree farm powered by turtle. Because as much as I like the forestry tree farms, they are quite good, but they're just complicated. There's a lot of work involved in setting them up, and then a lot of piping of ingredients and stuff is needed to maintain them and things. And this is just so much simpler. And ComputerCraft turtles are very, very cheap to craft and easy to run. This one was a minute ago running a program that I saved, but for some reason it's reset itself, which is kind of weird. I wonder whether it unloaded the chunk. Yes, that is interesting. So let's have a look. Does he still have his inventory? Yeah, he's still... No, he's lost his fuel. I had a stack of charcoal in there, and that's all gone. But perhaps he is fully refueled. Let me go into Lua. This is the programming language, and you can do turtle dot get fuel level, I believe, is the command. Yeah, okay, so he is fully refueled. He has just used up the charcoal that was there. Now, the function of this guy is he does automated farming of trees. However, clearly unloading him and reloading him is a bad thing because he's forgotten who he is and where he is. So I will just have to get him back home. So we'll do turtle.turn right. And these are amazing things. There is so much you can do with them. There we go, he's turned right. Turtle dot... Actually, let's turn him the other way round. He doesn't need to go that way. Turn him all the way round and forward 5 times. We didn't get him there. One more. You know what? I'm going to do this bit off camera. We'll get him back into position and I will show you the process he follows to do the whole tree farming process. Okay, so as you can see, the program tree farm is still saved on here. You can see with the ls command, you can see the contents of the turtle's kind of interior hard drive. He is going to basically, I need to remove this sapling and the dirt to get it back to the standard starting position that he's going to expect. Let's put his dirt in the slot it needs to be in and make him go. So we tap tree farm and he's off. He heads off into the centre of this area, puts down a dirt and places a sapling. And now all he's going to do is wait, and as he sits there waiting, he's comparing the position in front of him with the contents of this slot in his inventory. He doesn't allow this slot to get empty. There's always going to be a rubber tree sapling in there. So he will know when that stops being a rubber tree sapling, and this will obviously happen naturally, but I'm going to help it along, and becomes a tree. And when that happens, within the next 10 seconds, because he checks it every 10 seconds, he will notice that it's a tree, remove the dirt, dig out all the wood, and then head back down again. And then he's going to come over here, drop off the wood in this chest. You can see we've got a good supply of it building up there. Come around here. He briefly checked in there. If he didn't have enough saplings, he would have picked up some more at that point. And then he places another one and simply waits, waiting for it to grow again. Now that sapling won't grow again until there is space above it for it to grow and it has some sunlight. So this is a kind of natural delay point in the process for any saplings from these leaves to drop down, land in the water and get pushed down into this channel here, and from there they flow along to here, and you see we have an obsidian pipe. If I throw a sapling in the water, this is what I've figured out about obsidian pipes. You don't even need to power them. They will pick up, there it goes, any item that enters their block and pipe it up. So that's a really simple way of getting something into a chest. And he is just going to repeat that process over and over and over forever. So I'm going to get a world anchor and place it over here to keep this chunk loaded. And we'll just come back another day and see how he does. I will go and get the world anchor set up and hope that he doesn't unload in the meantime. Oh, and by the way, I also, when I was messing with obsidian pipes, I did the same for the chicken farm. I realised how easy it was just to stick a pipe here and have the eggs piped up into a chest. So that's what's been happening. Getting a reasonable amount of eggs in there. I don't really even need them for anything, so it's good to have that working. So I'll get a world anchor and we'll set this up and leave it overnight and see how it looks in the morning. Here we go then. This is the arrangement for a world anchor. Quite an expensive item at the moment because it needs an ender pearl, and I don't have an easy supply of those, although with the nano saber it's really not too hard to kill endermen anyway. You just have to take the opportunities when you happen to see them, or I could go to the end, I guess. We got 2 diamonds, 4 gold in the corners and obsidian top and bottom. So there's our world anchor. I'll go and place it over near the turtle and hope that the turtle remained loaded during that time, so he's still running his program. we'll just have this here. Let's check on the turtle's program. You can see the particles from the world anchor. Yeah, he's still going. Still running tree farm. I'll have to figure out how to turn those particles off again. There's a shortcut key for it. What is it? Railcraft Anchor Aura, but it's set to F9, which isn't available on my keyboard because it's Fraps, I don't know, F12, I guess. Yay. So there we go. Hopefully, I'll come back tomorrow and have a significant amount of jungle tree logs, not jungle tree, sorry, rubber wood in here. And this is how I'm hoping to farm rubber, because I don't think there's any way of automating the farming of it other than using the forestry mod, which I'm avoiding this time. I don't think there's any way of like automatically tree tapping or anything like that. So this is the only way I can think of to do it. So we will leave it going. Actually, I will just show you the program on a different turtle, since he's busy. Okay, so here is how we craft a turtle, just so you know. We need a computer, which is very cheap to craft, just stone, 1 redstone, 1 glass pane. And then we need to take that, put iron over the top, put the computer in the middle, put a chest at the bottom, and that gives us a turtle. And then we take our turtle and we give it whatever tool we want it to have. In this case we want a mining turtle, so we give it a diamond pickaxe. And there we have a mining turtle. Very easy to craft. The only major cost is the diamonds for the pickaxe. And then when you open it up, you get this Turtle OS kind of thing. Now I have got the code for my tree farming program on Pastebin, so I can very easily load that in. Okay, I have the code for it now. I'll put it in the comments below as well, in the description. So the command is pastebin get. Pastebin get. And then we paste in the code from the pastebin.com URL and give it a file name, which we'll call tree farm. There we go, and that will load in my program, call it tree farm, and then we can type edit tree farm to view its contents. And basically I have a whole load of functions to do various different stages in the process, but at the end, page down doesn't work, so we'll just scroll right down to the end. At the end is the basic code of what is done. So we have this while true do, which basically means repeat this entire loop forever, because true will always be true. So any loop that says while true will just happen forever. If the turtle has enough fuel, I'm saying 50 just because that seems to be enough movements. This is the number of movements it can make. So if it can make more than 50 movements, that's enough to do 1 cycle. If it doesn't, it goes to slot 14, which is, this starts at 1, goes up to 16, so that's slot 14, and it expects to find fuel there, normally coal, but you can use other fuels too. Does a refuel process. If the fuel is still less than 50, it gives an error and exits the program. Then it does its check just to make sure it has dirt, looks in slot 16, makes sure that there is at least 1 item there, and that will be its dirt. If not, says dirt goes in slot 16 and returns. Now it just goes through these 6 functions that I've got. Wait for saplings, move from home to farm, plant saplings, wait for a tree, cut the tree, move from farm to deposit, and then back to the beginning again. And I'll take you through those one at a time. So wait for saplings, selects the 15th slot, waits until there is at least 2 items in there, waiting 5 seconds every time it checks, and repeatedly sucking items out of the chest below. That's this suck down command. Once there are at least 2 items in that slot 15, then this while loop will end and wait for saplings will be over. The next thing it moves on to is, and these are not very well ordered, move home farm. That's a very simple function that just moves it from the home position to the farm position, and that means going forward 5, turning left, forward another 5, and then turning left again. So that just gets it positioned correctly for the farm. And this forward by function is a simple helper function I wrote to just do a little for next loop to repeat the forward command 5 times. So that basically puts the turtle in the right position for farming. Then it calls plant sapling, which selects the sapling slot, the dirt slot, which is slot 16 here, places the dirt, goes up 1, selects the sapling slot, places a sapling. And then we go into wait for tree. And wait for tree selects this 15th slot, which contains at least 1 more sapling, because we don't run this until we have at least 2, and constantly compares that slot with the item in front of it. Once those items do not match, which means that the item in front is no longer a sapling, which means the tree has grown, it will jump out of this while loop and dig down, move down, dig forward, and collect the dirt, putting the dirt back into slot 16 again, because that's the slot it selects. Then we do the cut tree function, which selects the first slot to hold the wood, digs up once, moves up once, starts a count variable, and then repeatedly checks whether the block above it matches with this slot here. So that first dig is going to put wood in that slot there. Following that, it just has to compare the block above, so compare up, compares the block above it against the item it has in that slot. If it matches, it will dig up once again, move up once again, and increase the count. So that basically means it will carry on digging upwards until the block above it is no longer wood. It will normally be leaves, because most rubberwood trees have leaves above the top of the tree trunk. And then it will simply, whatever count of ups it has done, it will repeat by going down that same distance. So this 4i equals 1 to count, we'll just take it down by 5 blocks if it went up by 5 blocks. Pretty simple. Then it runs move farm deposit, which turns it right, takes it forward, turns it left, takes it forward, that puts it above that other chest at the far side. It selects the first slot, which contained the wood, places the contents of that slot into the chest, that's what this drop down command does, and then turns left, moves forward 9 blocks, and turns left again, which puts it right back in the position above the very start of the farming machine once again. So, pretty simple. You can download the code and look at it more closely, and no doubt improve it from the comments. And the end result, I think, is pretty awesome. A completely automated farm of jungle trees. Look at it go. Go, go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to leave that going overnight and just wait for it to finish working. Ooh, an Enderman. Is this an opportunity? I believe it might be, but I am slightly concerned about the creeper and the spider. Let's deal with you first. And deal with you second. And then deal with you like that. Oh, man, they do hit you for a few hearts. And he didn't drop a pearl either. This is the second quarry. I realised that I've done all this off camera. I haven't been paying attention to when I've been recording and when I haven't. So this is the second quarry that I ran. It was filled with water, but I drained it towards the end. That's why there's a little bit of lava down here, because the quarry was actually drained for that last little bit. So I have got another something like 40 diamonds out of that. Didn't get any iridium out of this one, which is a shame, because iridium is going to be very important as the game goes on. So I've done 2 large quarries, and I'm thinking from this point forward it might actually make sense to carry on quarrying at a much deeper level than right up here at level 64, because you only get the really good stuff like diamonds in the bottom kind of 16 layers of the world. So it's such a long, slow process digging out a big 64 by 64 quarry that I might actually mine just deep underground, start the quarry off at level 16 instead. Plus it means it doesn't do too much damage to the world's surface either. Feed the Beast is going through a few changes at the moment, and I thought I'd just mention these before the episode comes to an end, because I'm going to keep it fairly short today. Obviously we're still playing the beta mod pack at the moment, but there are new versions of the mod pack coming out, like the Mindcrack pack and Direwolf's pack and the so-called Ultimate pack, which I think is coming fairly soon. I'm recording this on 27th, so any day now is what I keep on hearing. When that happens, we're probably going to update the server to that or to some combination of mods. We haven't really talked about it yet, but I guess that's going to cause a bit of disruption. There's block IDs that are changing and things, so there might be some blocks we lose. I've already lost my rotary macerator due to that annoying rotary macerator bug, which causes the world to crash. So I don't know exactly what is going to happen, but this is the reason why I haven't done anything more over at the new base yet. I've basically left this completely untouched. I am going to start building the new base here, but I just want to wait and see exactly what happens with the new world before we start on it. So I've got lots of ideas going around in my head. I want to automate a lot of processes. I've got things like smelting and macerating ores is just an annoying process, and as you saw, I have that huge crystal chest full of which one is it? That one. Huge crystal chest full of ore now, and this stuff all needs processing and depositing into the storage system, but it's just so much work to go through that amount of ore that once you're in quarry mode you really do need to automate the processing of ores as well. So that is going to be the next job, I think. Once we're ensconced in the new world and we have our new base, I'm going to get started on automatic processing of ores, automatic crafting of things, maybe get some factories going, start making some machines to create interesting things and do stuff. So that's all going to come in the next few episodes. But this was just a quick episode between Christmas and New Year. I am going to be offline for the next few days doing family stuff, so I won't be making any more videos until well into January, I would have thought. So probably the first week of January I will be back with more Feed the Beast, and by that time no doubt the server will have sorted itself out and got updated to the new version, and we'll know what's happening mod wise and world wise. So when that happens I will speak to you again, but in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to carry on monitoring the tree farm over there, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye.